Welcome viewers. Who Defines Humanity, Chapter 11, The Verdict, when the alternative stood trial before its own promise. Every investigation eventually reaches a point where no evidence is required, only a conclusion. This documentary began with one simple question: should GenderGP be trusted? And that question has now travelled its full chronological course. The investigation did not begin with criticism, it began with compassion. People were waiting, people were suffering, people believed existing healthcare systems had failed them. GenderGP entered that vacuum. It promised what vulnerable people desperately wanted: access, recognition, action, hope. No serious examination can deny what the promise, how that would have attracted thousands. No serious examination can deny why that promise attracted thousands. But neither can a serious examination stop there. The chronology continued. Patients began documenting recurring concerns. Professional regulators examined aspects of the founder's medical practice. The courts examined GenderGP's role in proceedings involving a young person. And these were not the same investigations. They were asked different questions, applied different standards, reached different conclusions, yet they all examined the same healthcare model. And this is where the documentary's central irony emerges. GenderGP existed because many people believed conventional healthcare had become too difficult to trust. Yet over time, GenderGP itself became the subject of questions about trust. Not because gender dysphoria ceased to exist, not because patients stopped suffering, but because every healthcare provider eventually faces the same examination: governance, competence, safeguarding, professional accountability, transparency. No healthcare provider escapes those questions, nor should it. Trust cannot be inherited from good intentions. It cannot be purchased through accessibility. It cannot be protected by compassion alone. It must be demonstrated through evidence that withstands independent scrutiny. And that is the verdict reached by this documentary. Not that every patient was harmed, not that every clinician failed, not that every aspect of GenderGP was without value. The verdict is narrower and stronger. The evidence examined throughout this investigation does not support granting automatic trust, simply because GenderGP presented itself as the alternative to institutional failure. Every healthcare provider carries the burden of providing its own trustworthiness, and GenderGP is no exception. The investigation therefore reaches its limit. Medicine has spoken, patients have spoken, regulators have spoken, the judiciary has spoken, and each has answered part of the question. None has answered the final one, but because behind every discussion about healthcare, behind every discussion about identity, behind every discussion about transition, lies one authority that no institution can replace. Who possesses the right to define what a human being is? And that question cannot be answered by medicine, it cannot be answered by judges, it cannot be answered by governments. It can only be answered by the authority from which humanity itself originates. And that is where the documentary now ends, and where the final chapter begins. Crank the AC to 79 and make a little island right here. And there ain't a palm tree in sight, but there's not a cloud in your blue eyes. If we need a drink, I'll be the bartender. I got a fifth of Patron and a blender. Baby, slipping on a swimsuit is overrated. We don't need a beach to get a half naked. Life's too short, let's not waste it, 'cause paradise is wherever we make it. Paradise is wherever we make it. Till the sun's up Monday, we'll tell our phones, do not disturb. I got my straw hat, babe, and you can finally pull the tags on your Tommy Bahama.
a shirt. Blue crush up on the 85-inch sound machine when we wanna hear the ocean. I think everything we need is right here. And there ain't a palm tree in sight, but there's not a cloud in your blue eyes. If we need a drink, I'll be the bartender. I got a fifth of Patron and a blender. Baby, slipping on a swimsuit is overrated. We don't need a beach to get a half naked. Life's too short, let's not waste it, 'cause paradise is wherever we make it. Paradise is wherever we make it. Oh, this view of you, it's got everything I need. Yeah, the rooms, they're cheap, and if we don't wanna, we don't ever, ever, ever have to leave. Yeah, there might not be a palm tree inside, but there's not a cloud in your blue eyes. If we need a drink, I'll be the bartender. I got a fifth of Patron and a blender. Baby, slipping on a swimsuit is overrated. We don't need a beach to get a half naked. Life's too short, let's not waste it, 'cause paradise is wherever we make it.